All right, fellas, so continuing on with the renovation process here and prepping for the new garage and foundation and blah 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 blah, all that stuff. I gotta move that unit. This is a heat pump that I installed either last year or the year before, I can't remember now. There's a video up somewhere, but it's a heat pump for the kids. And I got two air handlers, one's in there and one's in there. They're wall hung air handlers. Anyway, these line sets are pre-charged with refrigerant. It's not the prettiest install because I knew I had to move it and it's all gonna get redone anyway. But this is a 27K unit, I believe. I'm not sure if you guys out there can tell based on those numbers on what size 27K is. I mean, it says 27 right there if this thing focuses. The inside units are 9K each. Since the line sets are pre-charged, you can disconnect them and reconnect them as you need without having to vacuum the lines out and vacuum the whole system, which requires a license actually in my county and most of the country. You should be trained on how to do that because the refrigerant can be toxic for the environment, and it's getting better and better and better, but it's still toxic. So yeah, don't do these things if you're not comfortable with your equipment and how to handle it correctly. So the first thing you got to do is turn the power off before touching anything. So this is the disconnect. So we'll open this up, and mine looks like this. Yours might look a little different, but it's pretty self-explanatory. And all you do is pull on this with some force and it comes off. Just so you don't misplace this, if you flip it over, you can look inside. You see the metal connections? That would be on because those prongs would go into the bottom if you had it reversed. You see that? So they go in at the top. That's it. It's off. As always, before you disconnect anything and touch anything electrical, you should check your connections. The line comes in here from the disconnect, goes in there, and I have my meter with me, so I'll check everything before I touch anything. But as a process, I got my trusty Klein 11-in-1, and I'm gonna start taking some of these screws off to get access. I should have my magnetic tray, but too lazy to go get it. You know, this system was really great. Installing it yourself, you save a lot of money. You know, I don't know if you can install it yourself everywhere in the country. I think I just broke that screw. But here I did, because I didn't have to vacuum the line sets. I didn't have to do anything with the line sets, so it wasn't a big deal. I was just having a little trouble getting this off. So I think it's, yeah, down and out. So getting back to these line sets, this is where it gets kind of challenging. These are your king valves, and these are your line set valves, I guess. And when you pull them off and disconnect them, they have a internal valve, kind of like your air compressor and your lines from your air compressor. You disconnect them and they stay charged, and that's what happens in here, so you don't lose refrigerant. You obviously have to turn these off first. So I just follow my line back, comes in under here, which are these wires here, and go into terminals on the bottom. I don't know if, yeah, you can see that in there. Go into the terminal on the bottom. So you want to just check all your connections there with your meter. 0. And then stay up there. Then you want to check ground too. Line to line, line to ground. And we're at 0. All right, so we're good to go there. All right, so now we're gonna move on to disconnecting the line sets. These are the king valves, and these are the line set valves inside here. This is a 1-inch nut. I don't know what size that is. It's probably a 9/16. But the best thing you could do is have a crescent, a box wrench for this, or a big crescent wrench. So this is already loose because I cheated. I have a pretty big crescent wrench. I think this is an it's a 12-inch. So, you know, it allows you to get some torque on here and, you know, turn this. So we will just show you what's inside here. So the way to close these valves, I don't know if you can see that, but there's an out, it's almost like a set screw inside there. This is a 3/16 T handle, which is used for all my generator work. So you put that in there, screw it down just like you would any other valve. Righty tighty, lefty loosey, right? So that one's closed and that one's closed. I believe you do the low pressure first, then the high pressure. I believe that's the order. But the unit's off, so I don't think it really makes too much of a difference. That's the way I did it. I did the low pressure first, then the high pressure. So now we'll move on to the line sets. This is where I get a little nervous because I don't really want to screw anything up, because I would like to reconnect these after they're done working in this area. Open these up, take the outside off first and then the inside. There's a little hiss that comes out when you disconnect. I don't know what that's about, but hopefully I'm not losing too much refrigerant. This T-handle makes it a lot easier to close these things off, because there's making some funny noise in there. Not sure what that's about. We'll see when we go to reconnect these. I'm not sure if that's right. That is incorrect. Should not have done that. Should probably close these first. Yeah, a lot of refrigerant just escaped from there. Sounds like that O-ring. You don't like to hear that, but yeah, it's an O-ring. You don't have to monkey tighten them when you close them off. Don't wrench on them too hard. Once they're closed, they're pretty much closed. I don't know why I'm doing that. So there definitely was some refrigerant that escaped here when that was closing, but it was very, very little. Yeah, that wasn't so great. But it is what it is. Can't do anything about it. All right, so I got the line sets disconnected, right? Unfortunately, I did not keep the caps. I thought I kept them, but I did not. It's really not a good idea to have these open. Dirt and debris and whatever can get in there, and you could always clean it out, but it's better just to cover them, you know. So trust the old electrical tape will do. We'll see how this goes, because yeah, that's not good. Let's see. It's not doing such a great job here taping these up because it's cold out, and the adhesive on the tape doesn't want to hold. So we'll see how this goes. There's not much space behind the unit to get the tape all the way around, so just cut off a piece. So that did absolutely nothing other than cover the threads. So that's cool. And we do something like this. Probably is better covering it that way. So I'm going to do that for all of them, and then you should also, I'm going to cover these as well. I don't know how long these are going to sit disconnected. I'm going to try to hang the unit off of the wall of the house, but yeah, it's gonna have to wait for a little bit in order for me to let them do what they got to do over here. But yeah, I'll be right back after I finish all this. All right, so that's gonna wrap it up for this video, fellas. We've just put the unit in the front here temporarily. Everything's all closed back up. Actually, it looks like it belongs here, but The fittings are all covered with tape. I might put this in the basement. I might put it in the basement later on to get it out of the weather, or in the Go Mini pod. So, you know, to keep it out of the weather. Really, that's the idea. I think with the line sets, they might work around those line sets. We'll see what happens. But yeah, it's gonna do it for this one. Hopefully this helps you guys. I didn't see any videos on YouTube regarding disconnecting the Mr. Cool unit and how that goes. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. Just do everything in reverse. But you know how it goes when you install something. Years go by, and then you got to uninstall it for whatever reason. You forget what you did, you know, 2 years ago. I know I forget what I did yesterday. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.